Hi, it's Mandy Burge again. Today is May 17th, 2025, and this week's lesson posed the question, how does the biblical account of either creation or the fall affect your daily life? It's my personal opinion that it's very important as to what you believe about creation and the fall. How we interpret the Bible's account on both of these topics leads to how we interpret the rest of the Bible. I believe the Bible's account of creation should be taken to be interpreted as literal, for the simple reason that if God recorded these events in the Bible, he must have done so for a reason. This is not to deny that there are some parts of the Bible meant to be interpreted as allegorical. Yet, if we interpret the creation story as mere mythology, pure fiction, written just to give us a religious moral ground, what was the point for God to be so specific in his recording the fact that he created the entire universe in just 6 days? It is argued that the Earth might have been created in 6,000 years, and this theory originated from people attempting to apply 2 Peter 3:8 as a mathematical formula to the rest of the Bible. Yet, if we apply this formula to creation, that doesn't negate the question, why was God so specific in his wording? My literal view on interpretation also includes the Bible's account of the fall. If mankind really didn't rebel against God, if it was also just a story, then suffering would have come into the world unjustly, and we would have an unjust, capricious God who delights in our suffering. The ultimate reason why I find it important to take the creation and fall account literally is because if they were simply stories, there would have been no point for Jesus to die on the cross for us. He would not have to die for blameless men. And how could you even know that the accounts written about him weren't also mythological stories? Grand tales meant for moral reasoning. Why would you then obey the commands on right living that God gives us in the rest of the Bible, if everything is just myths? There would be no point. As Christians, our lives would be a lie, and we might as well just end up living carnally like everyone else does. We would have no right to evangelize to others, because if the Bible is false, then there's no surefire way to get to heaven. We would all end up universal Unitarians and believe that everyone can get into heaven. Yet the Bible says this is false. Anywho, that is my take on why it's the creation and fall accounts are so important to how we live our lives now. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.